Now it's grounds. Now it's time for my evidence. My ground statement in my model would say something like illegalizing smoking would protect public health, and I've got to prove that now. So here's a lot of stuff. I'll go through it pretty quickly. Smoking threatens public health, both through first and secondhand smoke. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that cigarette smoking is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States, and that it kills over 400,000 people per year. Additionally, secondhand smoke kills people who do not choose to smoke. As the Surgeon General has reported, even small amounts of secondhand smoke exposure can be harmful to a person's health. The CDCP estimates that secondhand smoke exposure causes 46,000 heart disease deaths and 3,400 lung cancer deaths in the United States every year. Smoking, both first and secondhand, leads to the two leading causes of death in the United States: heart disease and cancer. It is a menace to public health. That was simple to write. All I did was pull, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 resources, which were really easy to find, and then I basically gave a piece of evidence from each one. Amma. Yep, and we'll talk about citation methods in a moment. Kelvin?
We use that to read that last paper we did on research. We use that.
Yes, you can use the material from the annotated bibliography, the material from the research report. Any material from research should be used. And if you want to add new stuff, Kelvin, or there's something on the research report that you think didn't really work, you don't want to use that, you can, that's fine. You're not slave to anything that you have done before. You can add new material or leave material behind. There was another question? No? So all I'm doing is evidence to show that smoking is a menace to public health. I want to restate my grounds for a moment, so listen carefully. Illegalizing smoking would protect public health. What do you think I still need to prove? I've proven to you that smoking is a cause of harm, right? That it's a menace to public health. How the ban would work. I haven't talked about the ban yet. A federal ban would change that. Evidence shows that smoking bans in the workplace have reduced worker smoking rates. This result also appears on a larger scale. Since they began to appear in 1992, smoke-free laws in workplaces, restaurants, and bars have increased to over 400. As of July 2010, 23 states have passed these laws, and many other municipalities outside those states have followed suit. Now, these laws protect the vast majority of Americans. In the period of 2000 to 2008, smoking rates have slowly but consistently dropped from 25% to 21% of Americans. This has continued the trend of falling smoking rates in the United States since the 1970s. Certainly, smoking bans have not completely caused the drop in smoking rates, but the drop has accompanied the bans. Smoking bans are the next and latest step in the United States battle against cigarette harm. And in order to continue the downward trend, smoking bans must spread. The next logical step is a federal ban on cigarettes. 2 paragraphs outlining how smoking rates have dropped at the same time as smoking bans have come into effect. And I'm saying there's a causal relation. That means smoking bans help reduce smoking rates. And then I've satisfied what David has identified that I need to satisfy, evidence that bans can work. The last one is my conclusion. And what do? I link the two that I've talked about. I started talking at first about my warrant, then I give my grounds. Now I'm going to make sure that the reader, or sorry, in this case, well, no, this is not your speech yet. The reader, in this case, this is not yet a speech. The reader understands very clearly how the two relate. Tom Head of About.com asks, if the government cannot restrict or ban dangerous and addictive substances that pose a personal and public health risk, then how on earth can enforcement of other anti-drug laws, which have given us the highest prison population in human history, be justified? This question raises an excellent point. The United States government bears the burden of protecting public health. It must do so in the face of the most serious health risk in the nation. It must illegalize cigarettes. I have linked the idea of smoking, this addictive substance in this quotation, with the warrant idea, the burden of protecting public health. I've linked them together. It's my conclusion. My paper's done. My paper easily rises above 400 words. And all I have done is think to myself, how can I express my warrant, and how can I use evidence to support my grounds? And that's it. And it was plenty to last that long. So I want to remind you of the structure. As I've said before, if you follow this structure, you should be fine. And you should be fine reaching that 400-word requirement that you have. So my introduction to the warrant, transition, claim, evidence, and conclusion. With everything that each of those pieces does. I will pause there for a moment for questions. Yes, Josiah.
This is going to be on your YouTube channel. Correct?
Of course. Hence the microphone at my neck. Yes, Amma. Yes. You must have a works cited. And Amma, in a moment, once I've finished with questions about the structure, I'll start answering questions about the works cited. You can, but remember what I said to Kelvin. Your annotated bibliography is not your works cited for your paper. It might have the sources that you want to use. It might have extra sources that you put in later. It might not use all the sources from your annotated bib. So if it's the same, great. But if it's not the same, then use something else or make changes. Other questions about the structure? Okay, what's your reaction? Because I'm seeing the glazed silence of, is this the glazed silence of, okay, that seems clear, or the glazed silence of, I have no clue what he's talking about? The second one, you have no clue? Go ahead, Haven, ask a question.
Okay, I have my claim and warning grounds covered, but I don't feel like they're anything like you have.
Okay, then let's talk about it, because I want to see a